Yep. Morning, Hans. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm very good. Thanks very much.
Excellent. Well, Hans, welcome to the Business Spotlight. Thanks very much for taking the time to chat with me this morning. Could you tell me a little about yourself, your background, and your business, please?
Yeah, I'm from Denmark, and I've been in Belfast for 10 years now. I came up for an IT business project and ended up staying, met my wife, got married. We had a wedding anniversary the other day, so we're coming up to 8 years. We have a daughter, 7 years old, P3, and I make watches basically. 5.5 years ago, I started a watch company, sort of mostly based on the idea that I felt I had something to offer from a conceptual point of view, but started without any prior industry experience other than good intentions and a bit of I've been collecting watches my entire life and been following the industry. But had I known back then what I know now, I probably wouldn't have done it. But it's been a steep learning curve, but it's been fun and it's been good.
And what was the spark that made you press the button to actually get the business going?
It was actually an experience that was I had many years earlier, and it's sort of been, when I've been buying good watches throughout my life, the experience of buying a good watch, if you're local, so you appreciate a place like London, for instance, the way you've been treated when you spend 5, 10, 15, 20 grand buying a watch is pretty impeccable. And my idea was that you don't get those experiences when you're buying watches that are costing a fraction of what a Rolex is costing, for instance. And I thought it could be interesting to really treat people like royalty, even when they're buying a 300-pound watch. So that was one of the pillars of the business, that we wanted to achieve or deliver exceptional customer service. And we managed to do that throughout, and we set the bar high, and we've been doing that ever since. Every customer, every order I'm handwriting a note to every customer, regardless where in the world they are, thanking them for their business. It's not just a copy paste job, but I actually research the order of the customer so that it's what I'm saying is relevant. When we get orders from around the world, we will phone up the customer and thank them, and we will typically, if it's a watch which is that comes with a bracelet, you can't adjust a bracelet at home unless you got the right tools. So we inquire about the size of the customer's wrist, so that when the watch is unpacked in Australia or wherever it's going, the watch fits perfectly out of the box, stuff like that. And that works really well. So we're trying to humanize e-commerce, because e-commerce is sort of a people-free zone, and most businesses don't want to talk to their customers. You could search high and low for phone number on an online business to get a conversation. We see that completely differently. We want to talk to you. So that was one of the things. Another thing was that I like simplicity. Scandinavian design is about simplicity and discretion, sort of. So the watches we make are really hard-wearing pieces, but the branding is quite subtle, because that's the way I like it, and that's been well received too in the market.
And when you say received in the market, what are the types of people that you aim your watches for, or indeed the people that are buying your watches?
That was a bit of a surprise, because many of our customers, like, I don't have a percentage, but I'd say it's 3 out of 4 are men that already own good watches, that are looking for, okay, I want an everyday watch, or I want a watch where I can, let's say it's a solicitor or something like that, that's advising a client in distress. And it's sort of a bit bad form, and you're a bit tone deaf if you turn up to a client in distress wearing a 20 grand Rolex. That is a bit of, that's kind of rubbing it in. So we've seemed to have attracted people who are looking for something that complements what they have already, that complements their more expensive watches. Traveling with an expensive watch can be dangerous as well. People get mugged for an Omega, or particularly a Rolex, pretty much anywhere you go. So you don't want to do that. And because of the quality of the product and the discreet branding, the watch appears to, it looks like it's costing more than it actually does, but not in a blingy way, in sort of a robust way. And that's something that I know the customers appreciate, that this is sort of, you don't look like you're slumming today when you're wearing my watch, as opposed to the Rolex you wore yesterday. And that sits well with our clientele.
What would you say has been the most significant lesson that you've learned as a business owner so far, Hans?
There's been so many. It's hard to say that to pick one out. It's, well, but based on this business, I'd say if you do it right from the outset, it helps you enormously, because customer service excellence is an attitude. It's not just a coat that you put on and say, yeah, we want to do that. And it's 100 times easier to do it right from day one than it is to tidy up a complete mess and battle with a bad reputation that you suffered years ago. There are brands in this world that used to be crap, now they're good, but there's a lot of people who would still remember the bad days and the bad experiences. So the best way to protect your brand integrity and your image is to do it right from the very beginning. You can't just turn it on and off. You need to live it, for better, for worse. That's probably the most valuable lesson.
And what would you say has been the toughest obstacle that you've had to overcome in your business journey?
Apart from the usual issues with funding and product finance and all those things, it takes time. You can't rush it, and it's especially something like this where we're not in it for the quick buck. There was by the time we started, there's been a lot of new brands coming into the market. So basically on the notion that, okay, there's a product, there's a good photographer, there's a website designer, I want a watch brand. And that worked for 5 minutes, and that's stopped working a long time ago. What's left now are people who really want to grind and who want to deliver things pre-sales, during the sales, and particularly after sales. And I operate this company as if it's going to be around in 100 years from now. I'm not interested in just turn and burn. But that is an easy statement to make, but it's hard to live, because you're going through rough patches. COVID wasn't particularly easy for us, because we got a lot of, we behave like a more mature brand. We got brand ambassadors. We are official timekeepers of the biggest ATP tennis tour event in Scandinavia. And we're involved in golf and a couple of other things. So we act like a more mature brand. And those bits are expensive. And they don't give you an immediate return. They give you a return you might experience much later in the process. So you need to prepare yourself for a long journey. It's not just a quick thing, and then you're there. And we're still learning. We're still working hard on it. So.
And what gets you out of bed at the minute? What really motivates you and drives your passion for your business today, Hans?
Well, we've come so far, and I feel we're so close to something that's really going to resonate. And I like doing what I'm doing. Watch buying is a happy place. It's not like buying car insurance or heating oil or something like that. This is something that people buy with a very happy and positive mindset. So the customer conversations, the dialogue that we're having with the customers are one of the key drivers. And then obviously trying to figure out what the next watch design is going to be, and what we're going to do next. Those things get me out of bed. But it's the whip of having delivered excellent customer service for so long, and it's sort of I don't know, it's not a fair comparison, but I stopped smoking 14 years ago. And sometimes I have this dream that I'm back, I'm having a cigarette. And I wake up really angry because you've lasted for so long. Why are you smoking again, you idiot? And it's a bit like that. I don't want to break the spell. I want to keep going. Well, that gets me.
Brilliant, great analogy. And if it were possible and you could go back in time and give some advice to the 18-year-old Hans, what would that advice sound like?
Focus. Be more focused, and sort of distill down what you're good at, and be more resilient. And that's something I've learned later in life. It's a bit like when you're young. Okay, that didn't work, I'm going to try something else, or that didn't work either. And it's, whilst you have to be realistic about what you're doing, you still need to be really focused and dedicated.
And if you started Enoksen Watches again, is there anything that you would do differently from the outset?
With the knowledge that I possess now, or
whatever you feel,
Yeah, I would. Well, nobody could foresee something like COVID, and we had a plan for our offline activities, event participation, and all sorts of things we wanted to do. And that obviously got sidelined completely by COVID, and as a result, every company out there with something to sell put all their resources on online advertising. So what worked prior to COVID and would get you noticed online was suddenly a drop in the ocean, because all the funds that would otherwise go to pay for offline activities and everything else than online advertising suddenly hit the internet, which meant that you couldn't be seen or heard. It was so difficult, and I don't think online advertising has recovered from COVID since it's been very difficult. So this is an example of even the best laid plans and all, but that was impossible to foresee. And that's obviously that's probably set us back 2-3 years. Not that we didn't sell, but the feeling was during COVID, people were sitting at home with money to spend, but it was spent on products they knew already, brands they knew already, and it was not the right time to make a name for yourself, because we were just one among many, and we weren't that known at that stage. So I don't know.
So let's fast forward 5 years time, 2028. What does Enoksen Watches look like then, Hans?
Oh, we have some. Speaking of best laid plans, we have some good plans for that, and we hope to have a presence in 25 cities around the world, because we've found that nothing draws a crowd like a watchmaker sitting there doing his thing in public. And we've done various events with Bentley, Aston Martin, and really high-end brands where we've been present, and one of the watchmakers has been sitting there assembling a watch, and that sucks people in. So I believe that the high street actually is going to come back in some shape or form, because something like a watch, the feeling of a watch on your wrist, you can't convey online. With the best CGI, the best photography, the best video, the best ambassadors, the best everything, nothing beats the watch on your wrist and understanding how it came to be, how it was made, and who made it. So we want to take that experience and make it genuine on a high street level. When having said that, bricks and mortar is a very intimidating proposition, because you've got so many days during the year where we're not making any money. So it's figuring out where and how and when in particular. But we want to be in 25 cities around the world in 5 years from now.
Fantastic. This is such a great story, Hans, I have to say. And look, if somebody likes what they've heard and would like to reach out or maybe look at some of your products, some of the watches, what's the best way for them to either reach out or to look at the products?
Well, you can start by Googling the name, because that's one of the advantages of this funny surname that I have. If you type in Enoksen, Enoksen, you'll find us, because there's no other business in this world that has this name. So that will take you to the website. It will take you to our social media platforms, and there's obviously YouTube as well. So there's plenty of ways of getting hold of us.
Fantastic. Well, Hans Enoksen, I hope I've done the pronunciation right, from Enoksen Watches. It's been an absolute pleasure to hear about your journey, your story, and I genuinely am interested in how it will progress, and I wish you every success for the remainder of 2023 and beyond. Hans, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks a million. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.